We have, she's a leader up in Bar Westlock, but there's Westlock, there's Barhead, they're really close, and there's like a rivalry, so I just try to unify the factions, and I call it Barlock, or West Head, but Barlock is a better ring to it for me. She's a platinum leader in our organization. She's someone who I just respect her, how she carries herself. She's a real straight shooter, she's a fun gal, and I distinctly remember being in her living room, meeting one-on-one with some of her members when we were doing a meeting up in Barlock, and really running through what geometric progression looked like for her. We were looking at my business in the past, where her business was, and what it could look like in the future and what it's grown to. And it was just quite an eye-opening experience to run through those numbers with her. I've slept on her couch or basement in her family, and she's a really great lady who's going to share her network marketing story with you 5 to 10 minutes this afternoon, and you can really get up her heart and what it looks like to share your story with others. So please welcome Angela Anderson.
2012, Angela Anderson quickly skyrocketed from the purchaser of the products to a distributor. She moved from silver to platinum in 24 months. Her success comes from believing that there is great value in sharing your truth with others. Her team sees her as a woman of integrity who empowers others to live authentic lives. Please welcome Angela Anderson.
Stinking cool. Okay, we're all friends here, so can we agree to tell the truth? Yes. So, show of hands. Who here has heard the following about this business? This won't work. You didn't get in early enough. You can't possibly sustain this momentum. Long-term success is just not possible. Okay, did you guys notice I raised my hand for every single one of those? That's because I've heard all of those statements and more. I've heard them a lot. Okay, Adam talks about me sharing. We're gonna get nitty-gritty here. So, the person I had hoped would be my biggest cheerleader actually turned out to be my biggest critic. He constantly told me all the reasons this business couldn't possibly work, and he resented any time and energy I spent on it. If that resonates with anybody, I bet it does. But it's hard. It's really hard. You can start to question yourself. You can question your abilities to succeed. For some of us, it can send us into a downward emotional spiral, or at least it did all those things for me. And I don't share up here to be shocking. I don't share to make anybody feel sorry for me. I share so that some of the leaders out there who are doing this business with their spouse and have that full support, I share so that some of you leaders might possibly understand what some of the people on your team are going through. It's hard. For those of you out there who don't have the support at home, I share so that you know you aren't alone. I know what it's like to be reading those Facebook posts about these power couples rocking this business, and you can start to let yourself drift back and think, I can't do that. I don't have that support. I don't know if I can achieve that same level of success. I'm here to tell you, you can. You can and you will. So, now that I've told you all my sad Sally story, would you like to hear what helped pull me out of it? Adam just alluded to it. Well, he didn't allude to it. He flat out ruined my whole presentation and told you everything I was going to talk about. The summer of 2013, Adam came up to West. You just made me do it. Adam came up to Westlaw. He was doing some business presentations for our team, and he was gracious enough to give us his time, do one-on-ones in my kitchen with my girls, and it was amazing. saw something in me, and he told me that I could do this. At the time, I was a silver, secretly struggling with how I could possibly take this business any further. I did not see anybody's vision for me. I thought I'd taken it as far as I could. He was in my kitchen and he told me I could rock this. Now, for those of you who know me, I'm a details girl. I am so incredibly green, I am almost off the chart on the personality scale. So it wasn't enough for him to just say, hey, you can do this. He pulled out his computer, loaded up his YL family, and he showed me his stats from when he was a silver 2 years sooner. And then he pulled up mine to show me side by side how incredibly similar they were. And it was crazy. It was crazy. And then he flipped up 2 years ahead of the road to where he was at that time and showed me what I could do. Showed me what I could do. It was crazy. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why that was so cool. There was an MIT study done that showed for every one time you were told you cannot do something, you need to hear you can do it 17 times. 17 times. I am serious. This is science. I could not make it up if I tried. 17 times. But I think because I am so detail-oriented, him showing me on his computer the actual stats that acted like 17 you cans for me. It was really, really powerful. When I say powerful, I don't know that that's quite enough of a word. My jaw was on the floor for about 2 days, and my head started just spinning with possibilities. And I do believe the actual words I said when he was done were, I need a drink. True story. So, once I started to see Adam's vision for myself, I carried myself a little bit differently. I started to see some of the things he saw. I started to walk a little bit taller, hold my head a little bit higher, and I started to work on myself. I sat down and I reread GoPro and 4-Year Career. I'd read them before, but this time I reread them and I studied them and I learned from them. I studied them like it was my job, which it kind of was. I sat down and had a really long, not so groovy conversation with myself about my attitude and how it might possibly have been part of the problem. I was honest with myself about the things I was doing wrong, but instead of dwelling on them and living in the basement, I came out of ways to do it better the next time. I just looked forward as opposed to dwelling on the past. It was really, really cool. I have done more work, more personal development in the last 2 years than I had in the previous 39. I think you could find anybody out there who knew me 20 years ago, 10 years ago, heck, even 5 years ago, and they would not recognize this person standing on stage in front of you. And it feels really good. It does. It's really cool. I started to push myself. I set goals. I made plans to work on them. And I started making a really conscious effort to push myself outside of my comfort zone. Like really push myself outside of my comfort zone. Like standing in front of 1,100 people, sharing my truth outside of my comfort zone. There were days that were hard. There were still days that were hard. We all have them. But on those days, when I started to question myself, On those days when I would sit back and see other people nailing ranks, like just absolutely obliterating them in record time, and I'd start to beat myself up and think, gosh, why aren't you doing that? I'd sit myself down and we'd have a little chat. And I'd say, listen, lady, if a rock star like Adam Green thinks you can do this, you can freaking do this. And it was neat. So, for those of you in here who have a team below you, close your eyes for just a minute and imagine you're Adam Green over there right now listening to all this. Think about how good that would feel. Think about how good that would feel to do that for somebody else. Think about what it would feel like to be that person who gets somebody else to believe in themselves. Think about what it would be like to help someone else see greatness within them. Close your eyes. Think about it for just a minute. You want to talk about purpose? That'll do it right there. On that note, I'm gonna send you guys all home with a little homework assignment. Yep, I just did that. Just gave you homework. You're welcome. Over the next week, I want you guys to reach out to somebody in your organization and let them know what you see in them. Let them know your vision. Let them know how much you believe in them. When you're sitting at your table, I say table because my kitchen table is my office right now, looking at your computer, looking at your downline viewer, and you see somebody rocking this, I don't care if you enrolled them or if they are 10 levels down. You heard Melissa talk about the power of reaching down in your organization. So make sure you do it. So if you see somebody rocking this business, let them know, guys, that's all there is to it. Pick up the phone, let them know, oh my gosh, you are amazing. Have I told you how great you are? Do you know what you can accomplish? You guys, there are a lot of people out there who desperately need to hear that someone believes in them. There are a lot of us out there who desperately need to know that we are not only enough, but we have greatness within us. Now, I know some of you leaders are probably already sitting out there thinking about who you're going to call. I want to suggest something to you. When you're thinking about who you're going to call, don't forget about the people who aren't here today. I personally can attest, if you don't have the support at home, events like this can be really hard to make it to. They really can. They can sometimes seem almost impossible. A 2-day event out of town can feel really tough to get to if your spouse isn't supportive. So just think about those people because they might need that little boost the most. Now, for you guys out there, if this is resonating with you and you're one of the people who had to bargain, negotiate, fight, disagree, flat out put your foot down and say you were coming in order to get here, thank you. Thank you for believing in yourself enough to be here. I know how hard it was to get here, and we all appreciate it, and you deserve to be here. Now, to wrap this all up in one neat little package, I'm going to share a quote with you guys that Sherry Ross said to us at Silver Club. I'm going to grab my paper just to make sure I get it right. Now, you can write this down. You can close your eyes and feel it. You can do whatever works for you guys. You know yourself best. I know right now you might not believe in yourself, but I believe in you. Let my belief in you carry you through until you believe in yourself as much as I do. Thank you guys.